When I interviewed Steven on my radio show, I was so excited about being able to talk to this guy because he is the guru of comedy. He's a guy that's taught some of the most famous people in the world how to be funny.
Garrison interviewed me. It was really amazing. I've been interviewed a bunch of times, but the thing that was really kind of fantastic is that Garrison has this uncanny theoretical understanding of stand-up.
I love comedy, but if you were to say to me, did you ever think of being a stand-up comic? My answer, without even thinking, would have been, hell no. But Steven, both during and after the show, gave me the Robert De Niro, you're good. And I'm like, what? You're talking about turning Raisin Bread into stand-up comedy?
His questions during that interview were such a pleasure. Because, I mean, he somehow refrained from asking, the one that I dread, which is, how can you teach comedy? It gets to the point. I've been asked that question so many times that I think recently, when someone asked me, how can you teach comedy? I went, well, actually, now that you mention it, I guess you can't.
So before I called him, I went to the American Comedy Institute website, did some research there, got into it, and I was amazed at how many workshops they run and what they do for stand-ups. Not just beginners, but folks who are out there big time go back to the ACI for coaching. This is where it's happening. This is the place. So it's kind of the mecca for all comedians. Where do you go when you need to brush up or polish or get new material? You go there. You go see Steven Rosenfield.
Just knowing the words doesn't mean you know yourself.
The workshop is like a little red schoolhouse in the sense that people at all different levels are all in the workshop together. So there are people who have never done this before, who have never done any public speaking before, and there are people who are professional, award-winning comedians, and we're all in the same workshop together to create about 5 minutes of stand-up comedy material and perform it at Gotham. Number one, the first goal is to put you in touch with what is original about your own sense of humor.
My dad was gay, so I grew up around gay people. I feel like I should be able to tell if someone's gay. Like somebody who grows up in the circus can spot clowns.
Elephant in the room. I'm bald.
But my hometown of Austin, Texas, has the city motto of keep Austin weird, which I used to think was really cool. And then I moved up here and I realized they have no fucking clue what weird is.
Second goal is to learn the fundamental techniques of creating stand-up comedy material. How do you go about creating the material for yourself?
Like, I do get girls come up to me and they actually reject me without even really trying to hit on them yet. Like, it happens all the time. Like, just the other day I was waiting in line to order a drink and the girl in front of me turned around going, look, it's not going to happen. So then I took my hand off her ass.
You want to create stand-up comedy material that is going to communicate who you are to your audience.
And that's why I say it's time for us to bring back President Reagan! Okay! I know he's dead!
Goal number 4 is to learn how to learn from the people that you think are great at this. How to study the ones that you think are terrific in a way that will help you with your own act. The next goal is to deepen your understanding of comedy. It is no accident that people who come up through stand-up go on to these terrific careers in television and in movies and in the theater.
So Gaddafi's dead. Too soon. Just kidding.
But yeah, as you probably guessed, I'm not from around here, and I'm in the United States here for a couple of months, and I've timed it pretty well with the Occupy Wall Street movement at the moment, because accommodation here can be absolutely expensive at any other time.
The next goal sounds banal, but it strangely is crucial, and I'll tell you what it is. The next goal is to have fun.
I was in China. I was in China. I went up to someone and said, "Wait, where's Chinatown?" He goes, "No Chinatown here. These are all a Chinatown. You want a Chinatown? You go back to your country."
I think the best part about the first class was I didn't have to get up and do anything. Stephen did all the talking for about 2.5 hours, and he gave an overview of comedy. What is it about stand-up comedy? What is it? How many types of stand-up are there? So it was basically an introduction to the industry, which for me, the value of that was, as he talked about each kind of stand-up comedy, it enabled me to say, well, is that the direction I want to go in for this, or should I try that? Probably the other thing, it gave me my first introduction to who my fellow classmates were. Everybody there is out for the same thing. They want to be really good stand-up comics, but the beauty of it is, it's like doing an open mic in music. Just finishing up the first night of the comedy workshop, and I don't know, there must be some magic being in New York City as well as learning to be a stand-up comic. It's going to be quite a journey. Who knows where it's going to end up, but for me it's going out of my comfort zone, doing something I've never done, because it's a real challenge for me. But it's a great group of folks, and I think it's going to be cool. Yeah, well, I think we got to develop our material first. I got to find out, what's my comic persona, So that's going to take a while to develop.
Do you remember when the train felt like a journey? Not just the MTA taking your money. Do you remember when you had the time to go and not feel guilty? How it takes you away. Yeah, it takes you away.
I never thought of myself as a stand-up comic, so I never ever associated my thoughts or my perceptions of things with, haha, that could be a joke, haha, that could be a joke. But then what Stephen did was he said, think about how you look at everything that's part of your life, write it down, make a note. What do you hate? What do you love? What do you like? What impresses you? And then he enabled us to take that and turn it into jokes.
God is a crazy guy. Like he created all of this in 6 days, non-stop. Like, what was that guy doing? Like snorting stars and planets? Like, yes! Okay, I'm gonna do this. Rivers, awesome. Bears, great creature.
Because you improvise your first drafts, you gotta record yourself, because you said some really great stuff there. Snorting stars, that's good. I'm gonna do this. Funny. Bears, great creatures. That's such a funny line. You gotta record yourself, Tommy.
So my best friend just came out of the closet recently, and he completely blew me away. I've known the guy for 10 years and I had no idea he was gay. It was a complete surprise to me. You know, I have been replaying our friendship and thinking about all the time we spent together and wondering, what if he wanted to have sex with me? I'm not trying to be vain, but I know that at some point I've wanted to have sex with almost all my female friends. Usually at the same time.
What Seth did is what I call a list roll, okay? He didn't refer to it as a list, but he basically says, based on my dad, here's what I know about gay people, and it's punch, 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 punch. It's actually a list.
Because I gotta tell you, getting older really sucks. I mean, did you ever get that weird sensation when your heart skips a beat and you go, whoa, that was weird. Now that I'm gonna be 63 in January, I'm thinking, one of these days, that sucker's gonna stop altogether. When you go into bookstores, they have this special section. It's called staff recommendations. How come pharmacies don't have staff recommendations? Fruit Ease stool softeners with laxatives, my favorite. Perfect consistency. It would take all the guesswork for me out of trying to take a crap that feels like I'm test driving a Chevy Suburban in my ass. And whenever I get sick, I think, is this a cold or some incurable disease I picked up after I ate a bag of mini pretzels with the same hand I used to hang on to the subway pole? I had a date with a woman the other night, and I'm thinking to myself, it's going pretty well. Then she says to me, she leans over and real seductively says, I get really turned on by hot men who are into competitive kayaking. I mean, geez, the last time I worked out was this morning when I tried to put my socks on. And right now, I hate having more time to think about stuff I hate that I hated before, but didn't have time to think about so I could hate it sooner. For instance, I hate the fact that bacon is never going to be declared a vegetable. I could be such a good vegan if they'd only make bacon a vegetable. And I hate those artsy signs on restroom doors that you have to figure out which one do I go into, which is men, which is women. You know, I saw a fire hat the other night in a restaurant, so I went out the emergency exit and I ended up peeing on some guy's front fender of a Porsche. But I look at other people my age and I look at Herman Cain, I don't feel so bad. I mean, if you're going to deny having sex with women, and so many of them who claim sexual harassment, don't do it in front of the TV cameras wearing a pimp hat. It just doesn't make sense. Thank you very much.
Good opening line, excellent opening line. Two things that you want to accomplish in the first 30 seconds of the set. One of them is you want to get 2 big laughs in the first 30 seconds of the set. You got one really big laugh right off the bat. I would avoid the shit jokes. Let me just give you context, which we can forget about sometimes when we're in a room like this. When you're at a comedy club, people are ordering drinks. A lot of times they're ordering dinner. That combined with shit jokes is not a tasty combination. The mini pretzels, the paranoia it's a good first draft. We'll work on that together. That you did exercise this morning that you tried to put on my socks. Funny line. I think the hate thing got complicated, but the notion that you could be a really great vegan just the moment bacon is declared a vegetable is really, really funny. When you said which one do I go into, what was that about? I can't remember.
The restroom style?
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
That is really funny.
Yeah,
and true.
Yeah.
And so true. And I think you want to give some examples of that.
The fire hat thing has got potential, but I think we can find stuff. You know, there's symbols like, you know, horseshoes that, you know, there's just no gender involved. And I think we want to come up with those kinds of things.
Okay.
I wrote down take off the pimp hat. That might be a punchier way of delivering the cane thing. And a really good close. That's exactly what you want us to do. You finished and you just really graciously thanked the audience, which is cool. Excellent first draft. You got a lot to work with.
Thanks. And I thought it went pretty well. It was sort of my in-class debut before the actual film, the live date, but it was pretty unsettling to be doing stand-up for the first time in my life. Hey, I gotta tell you, last night, you know, presenting my original comedy material for the first time was a pretty amazing experience. Something like I've never felt before.
You know, it's interesting because sometimes when people are in allied forms of the entertainment business, they're surprised at how different this is, even though in some ways it's not all that different from what it is they're usually, you know, what they're accustomed to. But it is different. Okay, that first joke is really strong. It's a great opening joke. Under 60 is great.
Terrific.
Here, I would do it this way. After 60, I would say when it used to be when my heart skipped a beat.
Okay.
I would think I'm falling in love.
Okay.
Now, when my heart skips a beat, I think I'm dying.
Got it.
Okay. And we just take out, I'm going to be 63 in January, let me tell you, we're taking all of that out.
We are taking that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So take out, I'm going to be 63 in January, let me tell you, getting older sucks, all that's going to go out.
Got it.
I've decided that I am not going to measure time anymore by the years, by the months or the year.
Okay.
Now I'm measuring it by how long it takes,
Got it.
and then the rest is the same. The pain to arrive in my toe after I've stubbed it on. I'm trying to eat better. I think in all fairness, I could say that I'm actually a vegan.